Hey. Yeah, me neither. Okay. Update. I failed. Okay, wait. There's a lot more to that, but I failed. Remember when I said I want to ensure that I get 10,000 steps during the day? You naive. Well, yeah, I kind of gave up.
I know, I failed. But I just want to be able to explain myself.
I know you don't want to hear my excuses, but you know what? It's my channel and I'm going to tell you anyway. So I work in public accounting, which means that from January through March, I am working really bad hours. Alexa, shut up. It's 12:26 a.m. Oh, sorry. Battlefield work. They're rebranding. But as you can see, with any challenge I start, I always start out with high motivation. So I'm at the mall doing my 10,000 steps today, and I'm just listening to Settle Art of Not Giving Up on Audible. And oh my god, I feel so proud, like I'm sweating and shit. And I did some shopping. Can you see? I got a Build-A-Bear. I've always wondered when I was a kid, you guys want to see my Build-A-Bear though? Her name is Aaliyah. Business in the front, pardon my back. Hannah Montana. I held pretty consistent for the first part in January and picked up my Slack when I could, and I started wearing my Fitbit everywhere. I even wore my Fitbit when I used lotion. This is what it's come to. I also started reading this book, Atomic Habits, during my walks. But then the downward spiral started when I started bending the rules.
You know, what I realized is getting 10,000 steps a day is really hard. And so I feel like it would just be better if it should be 70,000 steps for the week, right? At the end of the day, maybe I'm at 8,000. Maybe the next day I do an extra 2,000, and that's fine.
And then literally on day 5. So I messed up. Yesterday, I got 9,700 steps expecting to just clean up my room and get the rest of the steps in, but I fell asleep. So I failed yesterday, but I'm not gonna let that stop me from doing 10,000 steps today, I think. Some days I barely made it. Today's walk. Not gonna lie, you guys, did my 10,000 steps and I am very sore. I was walking to get coffee because the coffee machine's broken. That sucks. I don't know why, but this part of my leg, right there, hurts. Is it because of all the walking? I don't know. Who knew 10,000 steps would be such a workout? I did not go on a walk this morning and I was so disappointed in myself. I was at like 1,000 steps most of the day. And then my roommates made me walk at their pace and they walk much faster than me. Like, I can't keep up. So I just like grabbed her, let her guide me, and it was like great. But I ended up walking way more than I wanted to today. Well, I always want to reach my goal, but I've just been so sore. I'm really cutting it close, you guys. Made it promptly at 11:59. I had technology issues. The numbers aren't moving. Literally been walking back and forth for like 10 minutes and this number has not changed. And some days I straight up didn't feel like it. Guys, I didn't do 10,000 steps today, 10:30, and I'm currently watching Al Honoho. And I'm about to pass out. I waited till the last minute. And because I was working so much overtime, my company paid for my meals, which meant I was eating out every day. So today I got Blackwood. I mean, per the usual, I get Blackwood like every day. I'm trying something new today, and it's so good. I always get the pad see ew, but today I got cumin noodles. Look how happy she was. And while eating out every day and working so much was fine, like I didn't feel awful or, you know, amazing either. It was kind of nice to be reading that book, Atomic Habits. This book honestly taught me so much about habits while I was trying to develop a habit of 10,000 steps. And so let me quickly just tell you about some of the highlights. We all have habits, whether they're good or bad. We could be checking our phone on Instagram and scrolling for 10 minutes that turns to an hour, and that is a habit. But this book tries to help you understand where those bad habits start and how to end them. It was honestly the perfect book to be reading from my walks. James Clear, the author of the book, basically has 4 laws that we need to do in order to be successful in our habits. Number 1, make it obvious. Your habits need to be easy to accomplish. So one thing that I was thinking about while I was reading this book was that I really wanted to work on my singing. But the issue is every time I wanted to go to do those vocal warm-ups, I had to go to YouTube, find the video that I was looking for, skip to the part where he actually did the warm-up, and that took too much effort and it wasn't obvious. 2, make it attractive. You have to want the outcome of whatever habit you're doing, and an issue with our society is that we can't really look at the outcome while we're practicing. So if we're going back on the example of the vocal warm-ups, instead of having the million steps to get to it, I ended up just using a recording.
But I gave that up as well.
While I did persist that for longer than before, some days I was like, I'm lazy. So James Clear says that in order for us to actually do our habits need to be under 2 minutes. So maybe that's something that I should look into. 3, make it easy. See, I think this is the most important. We all have the capability of doing great things, but 10,000 steps is a lot of time and a lot of effort, mostly time.
But walking in the mall took me about 3 hours, so maybe not the most efficient use of my time.
And at the midst of busy season, I really did not have the time to dedicate 2 or 3 hours to walking. I'm not a very fast walker, so these steps were not easy. And some days I couldn't really go on a run.
Okay, yeah, I really did not want to do my 10,000 steps today. Earlier I went out and it was raining, so I ran anyway.
So it was just not realistic or easy to do my 10,000 steps. So maybe that just wasn't a good habit for me. And so instead of 2 or 3 hours a day, I can just do a 30-minute thing that I still feel good after. And so with the vocal warm-ups, that's why I'm gonna do a 2-minute recording. And you know, maybe while I'm there, I'll end up doing more. But that's like up to me in the moment and not so I'm not so hard on myself if I don't do the whole 10-minute exercise or 5 minutes or whatever it is. Number 4, make it satisfying. This is probably the hardest to implement, I think, because how can you make a habit that you want to do for yourself good that is satisfying in the moment? I'm still not really sure how to do this one, and I think this is probably the hardest to implement. How can you make your habits satisfying every single time after you do them? And in the book, he mentions an immediate reward, and that's something I kind of have been doing recently with my bullet journal. I try to mark things off as I do them because it makes me feel more motivated to complete the next task. I actually watched Beatrice Caruso's new video, and she was reading Atomic Habits, so I was like, I think we got some kind of connection, Beatrice Caruso. Just kidding, you're way cooler than me. But I really related to her struggle with
thriving, and now I'm 29 and I'm struggling and I have no system set in place. Like, it feels like I'm drowning. Like, I can breach the surface and take a breath in order to survive for like the next few minutes and then constantly repeat and repeat, but I can't keep my head above water. And did you know that there's people who can float? So weird to me.
Some people are floating, and I can't believe I lived my whole life not planning or doing a morning routine. I hate leaving it to chance and my own brain. Okay, so yeah, my goal was to finish 10,000 steps a day, and I failed at that goal, but I made the mistake of making a goal of 10,000 steps in the first place. To me, 10,000 steps a day forced me to leave the house and get some air, get some space, get some steps. And that's exactly what I did, and I think that in that scenario, I was successful, especially during busy season when I did not want to leave the house most of the time or like leave my room, to be honest. It was nice to force myself to get out of my room and get some work in. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, and I will see y'all next week, hopefully. Bye.
Walking and eating is a skill when you have to walk with everything. I'm bringing a backpack next time.